DoNa from Wildfoxstitchery here on YouTube and on Instagram as well. If you are new here, this is a channel and it's mostly about cross stitching. That's my main hobby. I stitch a lot of really large projects, so mostly full coverage and a lot of large long dog samplers. That's my favorite designer, as well as a few other projects as well that aren't quite so big. I'm so grateful that for all of you who continue to watch my videos and comment. It means so much to me, and I hope if you are new that you'll stick around. I love making new stitchy friends, so feel free to message me or on here or DM me on Instagram or email me. I'll have all my contact information down below. Especially if you are in North Dakota or Minnesota area, because I live in North Dakota, and I would love to meet some local stitchy friends if there are any. I know there's some, I just don't know them yet. So I hope you're all having a good weekend. Here in the United States, it's a Memorial Day weekend, so it's a long weekend for me at least. So I have Monday off, so hopefully I can get a lot of stitching in, even though we have a graduation to go to. Our nephew is graduating. He's the oldest of the grandkids, so that will be exciting. Let's see, I just got done with my last long run before my marathon coming up next Saturday. Very exciting. We're tapering down until we get to the race on Saturday. So the weather here is beautiful for once. Last weekend we had a baseball tournament and it was freezing. It was so cold on Saturday they had to cancel the games and move them and squish them all into Sunday, and it was still pretty cold, in the 40s. So we were all huddled up with our blankets watching them play baseball and freeze. So that was fun. We did that all day last Sunday. And then, yeah, so this weekend is also a busy weekend with the graduation and other things going on. And I hope I can get my garden planted. I know it seems like it's kind of late, but it was really cold last weekend too. And I've been busy so far. Maybe I'll have a chance this weekend. We'll see. And then, yeah, so let's go ahead and get into stitching, which is what you're probably here to see. Before I start, I am going to say, I know if you watched my previous videos, you know I've been really strict this year about following my plans that I talked about at the beginning of the year, and I've stuck to those really, really well. I didn't do anything out besides that, and I got all the goals I said I was going to do. But then since my last video, I've kind of gone rogue from all of that and just kind of threw my plans out the window and decided I kind of want to just do whatever I want to do whenever. So I have quite a few new starts since the last video because I just want to start my things that I've been saving. And then I'll still do WIP Go and work on the projects that are called for the month. So I did work on my May projects for the month for WIP Go, which you'll see coming up here. And otherwise, I kind of have things separated into like full coverage. I kind of think of it separate from everything else. And then I have a bunch of kits that I would like to get some work into. And the reason I kind of changed things up is I would really like to just touch more projects during the month instead of just 4 or 5, which is what I've been doing. Of course, I get more progress on those 4 or 5 than I would if I keep switching, but I just felt like working on more of my old stuff and more new things, and just being able to do whatever I want, more or less. So I have some on the app where you can make spinners. I've made like 3 spinners, like one for full coverage, one for WIPs, one for new starts. And I don't know when I'll do the new starts, probably just whenever I feel like it, but I'll probably alternate between full coverage for 3 days, whatever is picked, and then a kit for 3 days and a WIP for 3 days, and keep going back until I go through all of them, and I'll just keep starting over from there. So that is kind of what I've been doing in the last couple of weeks. And then I still have projects, or I will have a project for the week that I put at least 2 strands of thread in a day, because I want to get, like I said, more things touched, more things worked on. So that's been working well. We'll go ahead and look at the first thing I worked on, which is Fishy Goings On by Long Dog Samplers. That was one of my WIP Go calls, and I worked on that quite a bit these last couple of weeks. So this is what it looked like before. I'll post a picture, and this is where I am now. So I've made it past the 25% mark on this one, and this is stitched on 32 count even weave 2/2 with DMC threads, and there is 4 colors that I'm using in this one. And this is a project that I love. Right now, it's probably one of my favorites. So I really enjoy working on this, and I think it also has to do with the fabric. This fabric is really nice to work with. That does help a lot with the enjoyment of the project for me. So that is the first thing I worked on. The next thing here is a stitch along. This stitch along is The Secret Grow by the NeedleLot design. And I didn't get too much further than what I showed you last time. I'll show you here where I was last time, and then this is where I am now. So still working on finishing up that frog. I worked on it a little bit a couple weekends ago, and I will work on it again when it gets called on the spinner. This one is completed now, so I am pretty close to being finished with this one, so it won't take too long to finish that one up. That one is stitched on Plum Ada 16 count, and of course it's all the called for DMC threads. So that one is fun, and I hope to work on that one again here soon so I can finish it up. The next one last week was the one I put in at least 2 strands a day on this one, and it is Beauty and the Beast by DoNa Stitch. This is a really old project of mine. Let me see when I started it. I started it back in 2017. It looks like I started on my birthday, so 11/23 of 17, and I didn't get all that far before. This is what it looks like. And then this is where it was before I worked on it for a week. And this is where I got to with 2 strands a day for a week. Here we are, working on that rose in the middle there. This is on Ada, probably 16 count it looks like, and it's fairly stiff Ada too, which is okay. When it's in the hoop, it's just fine. Yeah, I really like working on this one. It's just, the blocks of color are kind of nice sometimes. You don't have to keep switching your color out. So that was fun to work on and pull out again after so long. Put that away later. Don't make too much noise right now. Okay, what's next? Okay, the next one is Coffee Quaker by Heartstring Samplery, and I've been working on this for a while now. It's kind of my travel project, so if I'm gonna go in the car and I'm not driving, or I'm gonna go sit somewhere for a while, I will bring this project with me. So I have gotten quite a bit of progress on this one. I guess I'll show you what it looks like first here. So this is what it's going to look like. And I've changed it to just be monochromatic with DMC 3808, which I have a big cone of. So apparently that's my favorite color. Let's see, this is what it looks like now. So this is 28 count Joblin, and I'm doing it 1/1. So right now I'm working on this motif up here, and there's still quite a few more motifs to go on this one, but I feel like I'm getting closer to the end. I think it's turning out really well in one color, so I'm really enjoying this one. And it's easy to travel with since it's just the one color, which makes it nice. Okay, next is one of my new starts. Let me pull it out here. Now this is an older pattern that it looks like it's from 2013. So back around 2017 or 2018, I really liked it at the time. I never did buy it or stitch it, but then I saw somebody else on Instagram who had just started it as well, and it reminded me about the pattern. So thank you for reminding me about that. And I went out, found it on Etsy and got it, and then I am doing a complete color conversion on this. It is Antique Celtic Sampler by Elizabeth's Needlework Designs. So this is what it looks like. And I am doing that. I'll put a picture here of the threads that I'm using because I don't have them on hand here. I'm trying to organize my threads today, this weekend. But I am using Color and Cotton Joblin 28 count Sampler Gold. And I only worked on this actually one afternoon, and I was putting in the frames. So this is how far I had got. And this is the bottom half of the sampler. So I'm excited to work on this and see how my color conversion looks in the end. Like I said, I have a picture I'll put here with the thread colors I'm going to be using. So that was a fun new start that I had last week. And then my next project, which is this last week's 2-strand a day project, is another long dog sampler. It's called When the Stars Reply. This is what it looks like when it's in the end, and this here is what it was, where it was at before I started last Monday. And there was a day, I think it was Tuesday, that I worked a lot on it, so I put way more than 2 strands in. So I did get quite a bit of progress on this one this week, just because I was really enjoying it. I think I will, well, you've seen the before pictures, you know what the top part looks like, but this is where I've gotten to this past week. So I started this project back in, oh, I have to double check now. I wasn't really doing much cross stitching at the time. I had just had a surgery and I had to stay in bed for 2 weeks without doing much. So I started this project, and that was back in September of 2021. So that before picture was just 2 weeks of work on it. And since I was in bed and it was kind of dark, I had originally been doing it one color, but then I got halfway through that top section, this top section up here, and I realized, since it was kind of bad lighting in there, I had accidentally used 2 colors that looked very similar. So I figured I'd just go with it and kind of slowly change the colors here as we go down. So I think that's working out well. I hope it looks okay in the end. So that's been fun. What fabric am I using here? We'll see if I can find the project bag. Actually, it's Ada, and it's probably Picture This Plus, but I'm not sure what the color is because I don't have the tag anymore. But yeah, that was my project for this last week, and I'll still put 2 more strands today and tomorrow before I switch on Monday to another project. And then I was able in the last 3 days to pull out one of my old kits that I had a tiny little start on a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, and now I want to start working on these kits again. And that was a Dimensions kit called The Night to Remember. This is what it looks like. It's the Titanic, of course. And the reason I have this one is my husband is a huge Titanic fan. And then my son really got into it too as he got older and enjoyed learning about it. So I guess we're all Titanic fans in this family, kind of now. So this is the small, tiny start I had before I worked on it a couple days. And this is how far I was able to get. I hope the lighting's okay here. So this kit is from 1998, so it's fairly old. And I'm using all the kit stuff that came with it. So it's got, what does it have? 18 count navy Ada and the threads that it came with. As you can see, I put, back in the day, I used masking tape on the edges, which works just fine for me. So I'll keep that on there. And then the thread is kind of old, so it doesn't really, some of it is hard to work with, and it's kind of fraying a little bit, but it will be okay. I'll keep using it just fine. But that's why some of the stitches are a little messy on that, so don't look too closely at it. Okay, so that was the kit I was able to work on, and now let's look at my full coverage projects. Now this is where I have 3 new starts, so I know that's a lot for full coverage, but I love full coverage, and I had so many that I really wanted to do in the next couple years, and I figure either 3 days of work or completing 1% before I move on to the next one is a good plan. Let's see what the first one is here. Okay, this is a new start, charted by Thread Geeks. This is what it looks like. It's called Bringing the Moon. It says artist is Kate Fedora. Of course I love this because it's a fox. So I started this as soon as I saw it. So I was able to get to, let me double check here on my tablet and see. I'm pretty sure I got to 1% on all of these before switching. Yes, I'm at 1% on this completed. And this is 360 by 360. So it's a decent size. This is 1% completed. And this is 28 count, 2 over 1/10 stitch. So that's one of the new starts. Another one is a mini by Heaven and Earth Designs. It is mini Watchmen. Let's see if you can see that picture. It's 2 ravens or crows. Artwork by Lisa Parker. This is 242 by 325. I saw someone's finished project for this that they had gotten framed and it looked really, really nice. I think that was the regular size one, but I think I have enough regular size ones going. So I started the mini version, and this is some Ada that I cut on an old project that I never finished off of, so that's why it is all taped up, and I wouldn't normally use Ada, but I have this piece I need to use. So this is 1% complete on this one. Nothing too exciting yet on here. And it does go a little slower when you're doing full cross on Ada instead of the 10 stitch on the even weave. It's quite the difference. Okay, so another one that I worked on is one that it's not a new start, it's one I've already been working on. It's Killers, charted by Tilton Crafts. Artwork by Chris Moreno Aiden. And a lot of these, since the last video, I printed off all these cover sheets to go in the project bags, which makes it easier for me to tell what it is. So I got another 1% complete on this, which brings me to 15% completed on this one. So here is 15% done. I'm working on the 310 right now. It's looking really nice. This one is 300 by 387 stitches. And then there is one more new start. I talked about this in my last video. I was going to restart it. It's Mint and Roses, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I said I was going to do it after I finished my marathon, but I already did it. So this is what it looks like. Artwork by Bente Schlick. And this is 1% done on this one. It took me quite a few days to get to even just 1%. And this is just one color right now so far. It is both pages. So one page is probably about here. The second page, this is 28 count 2/110 stitch. So that one is 525 stitches by 762. So this is a big one. My second really big one that I have going right now. So that is what I worked on in the last couple of weeks since my last video. And let's see, what are we going to talk about next? Someone was just trying to come into the office, but they must have heard me talking and left. So, plans. Well, I kind of already talked about my plans, so I just will continue doing that. I'm gonna spin the wheel for a new full coverage to work on starting today, and we'll see what that is. And then I will work on that for 3 days, and then I will probably spin the WIP wheel and work on that, and then the kit wheel, and so on and so forth until I rotate through everything I have on my list. With all of these new starts and additional WIPs that I'm getting out, I might do in July a mid-year WIP parade, I'm thinking, because when I did my WIP parade at the end of last year, I was really only looking at the ones I was gonna work on this year, I think, from what I remember. So there'll probably would probably be a lot more there that we could look at in July. I'm also planning on doing Christmas in July stitching, which I'm excited for. I don't really have any Christmas stitching yet, so I'm excited to start a couple and work on those in July, and then of course probably at Christmas time as well. What else? I don't think that there is much else going on. The kids, a little life update, the kids had their last day of school on Thursday, so that's exciting. Still planning for August, which is when we'll start school up again. At least I have this summer to plan and get that all prepped and ready. The marathon's next week, so marathon training will be done, which is nice. I'm gonna do another half marathon in September 21st. I'm gonna do a half marathon in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So I will start training for that in July, which means I don't have to run too much in June here between the marathon and the next training start date. But of course I'll run a little bit to keep it up, which will be kind of nice because marathon training is a lot of running, and I've been spending hours on it, so it'll be kind of nice to dial that back and not have to spend so much time running, especially on Saturdays with my long runs. And training for a half marathon is half the running, so it won't be as time consuming. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we'll see how this marathon goes. If I ever decide I'm going to do another full marathon, we'll have to wait and see. I am crossing my fingers it goes well, and I somewhat enjoy it as much as you can enjoy it, running 26 miles. Yeah, other than that, I don't think I have any other updates. It looks like it's getting to be about 30 minutes, which is a good length of time for me. So I will plan on filming in another couple weeks and update you on what I am up to in the next couple of weeks, which probably will include a couple new starts, I'm guessing, just because I've been anticipating them for the last few months and I just am antsy to start them. So I will talk to you all next time, and I hope you have a good weekend. Bye!